It all started back when Valorant was still being developed and looked like a Roblox game mode. They called it Project A, and eventually in April 2020 they released the open beta. All you had to do was leave your PC running overnight while lurking in a Twitch stream. Did you know, by the way, that if you spend money in the open beta, you got 120% back when the full game launched? Yes, you could actually farm 20% interest, which is more than anyone on Wall Street will ever give you. Wait, did you hear that? That is the sound of Raze being absolutely broken, but luckily they released multiple patch notes during the open beta. Raze went from 2 grenades to 1 because she was blowing up too many people. The sage wall was basically a concrete wall, unbreakable, so they doubled the melee damage to destructibles. People were already addicted to bunny hopping, which they could do straight through a slow orb without actually getting slowed much. Already having toxic teammates? No worries, instead of just throwing your game, you can also spam the pings, making everyone on your team lag and drop frames. The last little bug they fixed is pretty small, but Cypher's camera could literally hold a gun and shoot people. While in beta, they also shared info about ranked. There was no Ascendant rank yet, and the top rank was called Valorant, like the name of the video game. They also did not like the color of the Radianite boxes and had to move the crosshair of shotguns 1 pixel more to the center. So yes, you can actually blame the devs for your bad aim. The bug is Altfire was also the only thing in the game that shot a projectile instead of being hit scan. It made no sense, so they changed it. For the Odin and Ara's enjoyers, they lowered the recoil because that shit was insane. Cypher's cage also no longer slows enemies. Remember the good times when you could just B-hop over the sage slow? Well, you could still B-hop over fire, mollies and snake bites without taking much damage. That also got fixed. Valorant was also much more true to the real world, where the wealthy get wealthier and stay wealthy. Capitalism is great, but then they lowered the maximum amount of credits that you could bank from 12,000 to 9,000. They also decided to protect the kids from the evil of the world and introduced a chat profanity filter. Valorant officially launched with episode 1 Ignition. They introduced a new game mode, Spike Rush, but also a new map, Ascent. And of course, every modern game needs a battle pass. But what this game was lacking most was a duelist that toxic people can insta-lock every game to then continue to bottom frag, be sexist, throw, and make good use of the new profanity filter. Very early on, they already announced plans for esports in Valorant, starting with the Ignition series. They updated ranked, mainly because people were making fun of the highest rank being called Valorant, so now it's Radiant. Yo dude, I've been grinding and I finally hit Overwatch last night. Then we got one of the most important features in the game, a surrender option. They made a big deal about the new dragon skin set dropping. Honestly, the insights are pretty cool. Did you know that to create these gun sounds, they used a combination of a walrus, a Bengal tiger, a yellow-backed chattering lorry, an alligator, and a massive camel? This is followed up with a super important patch where they made Brimstone's arm bigger to match his Giga Chat posture. It's time for Act 2, where they released the new game mode Deathmatch. Another big skin bundle, the Glitch Pop, with a futuristic holo vibe. And let's not forget our favorite German engineer. No, wait, this one is German. Caution, there is a high chance of airborne shotguns in your face. They literally spent an entire patch just to make sure that shotguns have less accuracy while in the air. Killjoy also got nerfed because the Nano Swarm was way too good. Vandal got buffed because the Phantom was still outclassing it. And I kid you not, this was in the patch notes. Updated the physics on Sova's cape so that it should wiggle outside of his hitbox less frequently. Thanks, Riot. Have you ever wanted to play with guns that remind you of your favorite hentai? Well, we got you covered with the new Spline bundle. The Operator also saw massive nerfs. We made it to Act 3, where we got the new Singularity skins, but also Icebox and the perfect agent to pair with the snow-filled map in an industrial terrain, Sky, Mother of Nature. Then we go through a modern phase with the Eon skin bundle. They let us have a snowball fight in the game and changed up Icebox significantly, mainly the A side because that was a big issue, but also the yellow container. Let's be real, we all prefer the cheap plastic toys over the more expensive and durable ones. Right? Now we have a skin bundle for that. Episode 1 comes to a close and episode 2 Act 1 launches. This also exposes us to the guy she tells you not to worry about, Yoru. Not much later, Split gets completely reworked as well, and while I'm showing these changes, consider scrolling down and clicking that like button. I literally spent over a day just staring at news and patch notes. Or you could become part of the 1% and subscribe if you enjoy videos like these. Thanks. Yeah, running gunning is a problem, so it got nerfed. But there's also way too many noobs stuck in iron, so we get a ranked performance bonus up to diamonds. And when you finally made it to the high ranks, you're restricted to solo or duo queuing. Reyna goes from 4 Devour and Dismiss charges to only 2. The Frenzy and the Stinger get a nerf, and we're getting a new game mode, Escalation. Okay. Time for the next act, where we're getting the Prime 2.0 bundle and a new agent that currently has one of the lowest pick rates, Astra. You know, at least to me, she's the star of the show. Moving forward to Act 3, we get the Forsaken Skin bundle, the new Replication game mode, and an entirely new map, Breeze. The next patch notes literally say that they improved frame rate by 1%. Hold up, new agent alerts. It is a C3PO of Valorant KO. Shortly after that, we're entering episode 3 act 1, where almost every agent is getting nerfs and buffs. Most noteworthy, it's people getting flashbanged in their dark room at 2 AM, so both Sky and Breach went from 3 flashes to 2. There's now also account leveling to see who has less of a social life. Run and gunning got nerfed again, and there's a bunch of improvements to the kill feed. It's skin time again. Both Ruination and Sentinels of Light get a bit of a deep dive. You're also finally able to save and load all of those amazing crosshair profiles. A teaser for new map Fracture just dropped, and people are very hyped for it. Now into the second act of this episode, and they're adding 3 tiers back to the Immortal rank. We're also getting Spectrum skins. Jet goes from 3 smokes to 2, and right clicking with her ult does not recharge it anymore. The next thing is not really Valorant related, but it also is, and that is a trailer dropping for Arcane, which was actually super hyped and came with a bunch of skins. We also get the Nunca Olvidado skins, which translates to Never Forgotten. Yoru and Phoenix also get competition for being the hottest male agents as Chamber joins the battlefield. But don't worry, no one can beat Brim. Entering the final act of episode 3, where the classic right click gets nerfed, and we're getting the Radiant Crisis 001 skins. Are you one of those rare Valorant players with multiple friends? Then I have good news for you, because now you can 5-stack in competitive with people from any rank. And even better news, Sonic just got introduced. Get it? Because they both have blue hair. They're fast. It's time for episode 4. The protocol skins are entering the game. Both Bind and Breeze got a lot of map changes, but there's one very significant and important bug that actually we would prefer to call a feature. Why the joy? If you thought people had trouble hitting shots with normal guns, apparently they are struggling hitting people with their knives, so they made it easier to hit a melee attack. The Tigris skin set is dropping, followed up with Act 2 of episode 4, where all controllers get a rework. Remember guys, smoking is bad for you. Yoru finally got a massive rework as well. Most noteworthy, he went from 2 fake outs to 1, and instead of just footsteps, it's now an entire clone that flashes people. Gate Crash goes from 1 to 2 and can now be faked, and you can use his utility in his ult. They also took Icebox to the workshop and topped it all off with the Gaia's Vengeance skins. Brimmy with his stimmy is dead, going from 2 stims to only 1. But don't worry, because we have a new waifu for you to main. Fade. She is the emo girl that we were missing in this game. The last act begins, and with it drops the RGX 11Z Pro, which sounds more like a brand for overpriced keyboards. Chamber goes from 2 trips to 1, and we're getting the new map, Diamond. Wait, I mean Pearl. I keep getting these mixed up. Now let me ask you a question. Are you too good for Diamond but too shit for Immortal? Do not worry, because you can now hit the Ascendant rank. New episode just dropped together with the Prelude to Chaos skins. Chamber is getting nerfed into the ground again, but at least we get some cool insights into the Reaver skins. They're also bringing the 2022 Champion skins into Valorant. In the second act, we're getting more awesome crosshair customizations. They also had to patch the fact that you could report yourself in the game, for the masochists out there. Chronovoid skins are a thing now, and they decided to buff the Stinger. They also took Pearl back to the drawing board for some changes. You want more skins? Well, we got you. Here's the Piedra del Sol and the new 2022 Eon skins. Brimstone is finally getting some competition, as Daddy Harbor will enter the battlefield and make everyone wet. Because he has water abilities, of course. And great biceps. It's time for the final act of episode 5, where they're testing out Premiere, a way for a 5-stack team to really push their competitive nature. Chamber is getting reworked, only giving him 1 rendezvous, and the ultimate fire rate is decreased by 57.5%. Then they did a massive patch where they reworked most agents just a little bit, and abilities can now also destroy other abilities. And because your teammates suck, most abilities are protected from allied damage. The devs noticed that everyone is hooked to TikTok TikTok now, attention spans are decreasing, so they added Swift Play as a new game mode. Lotus just got announced, together with the Araxis skins. And with these two highlights, we're ending episode 5 and going into numero 6. Split went under construction and is now made more playable. Also, remember when they buffed the Stinger? Yeah, they nerfed it again. The Lotus door was also actively damaging people's ears, so they had to lower that volume twice. New Agent Gecko, aka Ash Ketchum, is introduced and people are losing their minds over the cute little buddies. Act 2 happens and Oni returns. Bind will also be affected by map changes, and for all the gamers out there, yes, I know that you are a gamer, we got the Radiant Entertainment System skins. As we enter Act 3, there's actually a lot of changes. The Fade and Harbor pictures just had to get downgraded, Pearl is once again getting an overhaul, the Frenzy and Shorty killed more people than the actual good guns, so they got nerfed. Shooting on ropes was also made worse, except for the shotguns of course. Another nerf to running and gunning, because Valorant is all about the precise gunplay. And they noticed that half of all pro play is just spamming through smokes. So the Phantom and Vandal both got an ammo nerf. New mode, Team Deathmatch. It's like Deathmatch, but you have to rely on teammates again. And we all know how toxic people can be. You know, it's kind of like going to the same Subway every day and you ask for a sandwich without tomatoes, because tomatoes are disgusting. But they keep putting them on the bread, so you have to manually take them off every time, and it sucks. But, you know, you still come back here every day because it's just around the corner and the lady behind the counter is cute. And honestly, the sandwich is not that bad. The bread is really good. The tomatoes just suck and they never listen, but I mean, that's just Valorant, you know? Sova apparently has a sister, as Deadlock enters the game and she brings with her the Neo Frontier skins. Do you hear that? That is episode 7 with a new progression system with changes to dailies and added V-Bucks, I mean Kingdom credits. And... wait, it ends here? Hey, like an unlaid, it's starts a fist fight. Your right to property is antithetical to Christ. Hey.